Fascinating, right? Joining me now, Fox News senior political analyst Brit Hume. Brit, good morning to you. Good to have you back here.
Hi, Martha. Thank you.
So, is he right? Does the party need to be unified in the traditional sense, meaning that people like Paul Ryan and other conservatives are on board, or is there a new model?
Well, there's always a possibility of a new model, Martha, but the best way to look at this, it seems to me, is to look at the electoral map in which Democrats have won for the last, I don't know how many cycles, states totaling 242 electoral votes, and Republicans have won, over a period of elections, states totaling 102. So the Republicans start out in a very difficult, though not impossible, position. And any Republican nominee needs every vote he or she can get. Mitt Romney won 93% of Republicans in 2012, plus winning the independents by 5 percentage points, and lost the election, which means that any Republican needs to recognize the old truth about politics, which is it is about addition and not subtraction. And the first thing any politician in either party needs to do is to extract as many votes as possible as you can out of your base and build out from there. And if you try to write off or are prepared to write off whole portions of your base, and Donald Trump talks about, it's really not the Conservative Party, it's just the Republican Party. He's not wrong about that, but the Republican Party has been the Conservative Party for many election cycles now, and the vast base of the party is made up of conservatives. If he alienates them or refuses to appeal to them, I think he's got no chance.
All right. So one of the big criticisms is that he should have taken that moment when he won the nomination, essentially, and started to build those bridges, started to bring people in, spent time reaching out to the people who are not in his camp. But he says, no, I've got a model. I have something that's winning for me, and I'm sticking with it. He believes that he's going to win Rust Belt states that have been Democratic in the past. He believes he can win Pennsylvania, can win Wisconsin. When you talk about the electoral map, he sees people coming out to support him that are not in that typical Republican model, and he's going to try to bring in women by promising not to mess with things like Planned Parenthood and to raise the minimum wage. What's wrong with that?
Well, on paper, there's nothing wrong with it, except that you look at his numbers with women, he's underwater in terms of favorability, 75-24, or something close to that.
Yep.
So he can take non-conservative positions on matters like Planned Parenthood and the minimum wage, but women, I think, are reacting to him on a personal basis. They think he seems thuggish and mean-spirited and has said so many disparaging things about women. And believe me, Martha, the Democrats are not going to let the voters forget about the things he said about women in the past. He's going to have to run in the face of all these past statements. Yeah. So he's got a lot to overcome. Now, I think he'll do better in some Rust Belt states, particularly with blue-collar whites, than past Republicans have. But if the conservative base of the party is not really with him, that's not going to be enough. So when you get down to it, it's simply a matter of math. And I think he seems to have the feeling that his nomination, which was, by the way, by a plurality, not a majority of the Republican Party, was actually a function of a majority of the country. Well, it was not. So he needs to start building out and not leaving out people. And my expectation is perhaps if he should put his great negotiating skills to work and sit down with Paul Ryan and try to work out an agenda between them that they both can live with, and that will help to bring a lot of conservatives on board and will get him off to a good start. But his pride seems to me to be in play here, and it's not clear to me he'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, you make many great points, but one of which is that he won about 10 million votes. And when you talk to the campaign, you do wonder whether or not they are seeing, the general election picture where you need to win hundreds of millions compared with the primary picture, which felt so very good to them that they believe they're going to be able to translate that. And maybe they will. Perhaps they will. Give me your thoughts on this meeting on Thursday with Paul Ryan. What do you think Paul Ryan is trying to achieve by saying that he's not ready to support him? And do you think they walk out of that meeting with some kind of détente?
I think they could walk out with a détente. I think what Paul Ryan's looking at, Martha, is he's looking out across his majority of the House of Representatives, and he's looking at the districts in which members must run, many of them conservative, most of them, I think, conservative, and he's looking at what kind of an agenda they need to run on. And if that agenda is at odds with what's being said at the top of the ticket, they're all going to be in some trouble. So he's trying to find a way to some kind of an agenda that the top of the ticket can endorse, that his members could also run on, so they can safely support Trump politically.
Yeah.
That seems to me is, Trump probably wouldn't have to give too much, but he may be unwilling to do that. Now, Trump is wise, I think, not to simply adopt a set of talking points which are simply a reflection of what House and Senate Republicans have been saying for all time. He says he's different, and that different is what got him nominated. I think he's right about that. And Brian was intelligent enough to say the other day that he wasn't trying to insist that Trump adopt Ryan's agenda. He's just looking for some assurances that, on the big, broad questions of constitutionalism and the rest of it, that Trump will be with them, or with him, and he with Trump.
Well, we'll see if he gets
possible. I think it's possible to do. The question is whether Trump will do it.
Yep. And there's so much money that wants to protect the down ballot races that you talk about now, and isn't so concerned about the presidential race and Donald Trump at the moment. Excuse me. Brit, thank you. Great to see you as always.
You bet, Martha. Thank you.